Hi, this is Diane, and I have a couple of projects to share with you. I had recently gone onto Facebook and looked for Junk Journal Junkies because I'd heard a lot about it on different YouTube videos, and I thought it might be fun to look into, so I joined the group on Facebook, Junk Journal Junkies, and in order to participate in swaps, you're required to complete 3 projects. And I have the first 2 done. The first one is 6 tags. So I'm going to show you the 6 tags. And I'll be putting these on this video on Junk Journal Junkies to prove that I completed this project. So I use shipping tags for all of them. And please excuse my inky fingers because I've been using Stays-On ink and it doesn't wash off very well. But this shipping tag, I used Victorian Velvet and Vintage Photo distress inks. And then I embossed this old PSX, or Personal Stamp Exchange stamp. It's really old. The price tag, here's the stamp. The price tag said 1994 on it. And I don't even know if Personal Stamp Exchange even exists anymore. But anyway, that's the stamp I used, and I embossed it with clear embossing powder and rubbed Victorian Velvet ink over it and then wiped it off, the embossed part. And I put Stampin' Up! Seam binding on there. These 2 stamps, I used this. I believe this is Twinkling H2O's Yasutomo. I ordered this on the internet. Might have been from Jet Pens, I'm not sure, and there's nothing on it that says what the product is called, but I think it's Twinkling H2O's, and I painted these tags with different colors of that, so there's a little bit of shimmer to them. And I used this stamp. This is Stampabilities, I believe, from Hobby Lobby, and stamp that with Stays-On ink, and then use some washi tape. Put a piece of ribbon in that one and some Stampin' Up! Seam binding in that one. And then this one is this stamp from Hero Arts, and I colored it with my ink pads. Did you know that you can just take a paintbrush or an aqua painter and tap it to your ink pad and paint in, it's like watercolors. So that's what I did with my Stampin' Up! Ink pads. And this is adhesive ribbon and some little flowers, Recollections flowers with Stampin' Up! Sticky pearls, Stampin' Up! Seam binding. And then these 2, I used Tea-Dye and Vintage Photo distress inks on the tags, a variety of washi tapes, make the little patchwork background, and then I use this Studio G stamp from the Dollar Spot, and this one is Stampin' Up! And backed them with a colored piece of cardstock and popped them up with Stampin' Dimensionals, which is the Stampin' Up! Version of Pop Dots. And I don't sell Stampin' Up! My friends and I have done Stampin' Up! Parties for years, so I have a lot of Stampin' Up! Products. And this is twine or fiber from jute from Little Yellow Bicycle in different colors. And on the back of all of these, I like to make my stamps, my tags usable so you can actually journal on them. So on the back of all of them, I use the Stampabilities journaling stamp. So those are my 6 tags. The second project that you must do is a small junk journal with 1 signature or 10 pages at least. So I did mine with any binding you like. So I did mine with a pamphlet stitch. It's just 1 signature, and it has a little bit more than 10 pages plus some inserts and envelopes and things. So this is a piece of card or craft cardstock that was printed on the one side, and this is the Hobby Lobby brand also, excuse me. And then the front of it is just bits and pieces that I've had, and I just adhered them on and used stickers to spell out Junk Journal. I used black soot around the edges. Here's a piece of ephemera that I think I printed it. I can't remember if I actually printed it from the internet or if I cut it from a sheet of cut apart things. But I inked the edge of that and glued it on there. And I used Stampin' Up! Paper and some other papers that just leftovers that I had. And also some vintage papers, which I would like to show you. I just got this old ledger pad from the 1930s. It even says 1930, and then you fill in the year, from Towanda, Pennsylvania, which is very close to where I live. So I found this at like a little flea market type shop. And then this is from the same office. It's typing paper with the same name on the letterhead. So I got some of that. And I used some of those papers in my junk journal. I also had found this. This is also from my area, the Lehigh Valley Railroad, and this book is full of very thin papers, but it's like let me scan out here. It's like a ledger for the Lehigh Valley Railroad Company, which is local here in Pennsylvania. So I tear pages out of that and use that in junk journals. So all of those things were used in this one. So here we go. This is the Stampin' Up! Paper that was left over. This is a map tag that I had printed from the internet, and I had Tim Holtz reinforcement tag there. And this is just a tag I had made a long time ago with one of my stamps with a Bible verse on it. Here's a sheet that came from Michael's in the dollar spot, and you can write on that. This is graphic 45 paper, and I just glued this little card on there that says today. This is from the railroad ledger paper. And this is a cutoff sheet from that typing paper, the 1930s typing paper. It was a discard that I had cut, so I just stamped some stamps on there and stuck it in there. Leftover paper again with a little paper bag, I believe from Hobby Lobby. And here's a tag that I had made some time ago with stamps on it, journaling lines. Tucks right in there. And this is stationery that my daughter brought me back from Korea. Her husband was stationed in Korea in the army. And it's very interesting paper. The English isn't quite right on these stationery sheets, so I never use them, but I thought they'll be great for junk journals. This one has a little note on it. I have to pick it up so I can read it. Remain in one's memory, it says, and it doesn't even have an N on the remain. Remain in one's memory. So the English just is not quite right, but they're really cute, so I put that in there. Here's a glassine bag that I went to Amazon looking for wax paper bags or glassine bags, and I found these natural colored ones. So I purchased a package of those, and this is the first time I've used one. And I stapled this little card, looked like a vintage card that was cut from scrapbook paper. And inside the bag I put this card that I distressed with distress inks and stamped. And I clipped it so it would stay with that paper clip. Here's another piece of Stampin' Up! Paper, old paper. And I glued this little tab on there. And here's the 1930s ledger paper. This is from a Seven Gypsies tag packaging. So here's the top part of the packaging, and you'll see the rest of it further on. Here's another piece of this craft paper, and it has different designs on it. So I really like this paper. And of course I stamped on it. Here's an actual old time card that our church secretary actually used. She wrote on in pencil, and I could erase that, but since this is just for me, I'm leaving it there. And she had done her figuring, like added up her hours on the back here, so I just glued that card there. Here's the typing paper, 1930s typing paper. This came from a book that I had, and I just took this page out. You were supposed to journal or collage or something on it. So there's the middle of the book. And here are the rest of the pieces. Some more stamping there. Here's the 7 Gypsies tag, and I put a little bit of bling in the corners. I think it's Prima. And I put a little journaling card there. Here's the other half of that bag. I slit the top here since the other bag was open on this side. And this is a leftover piece of a manila folder that I had cut up and used for something. So I stamped on that, and it can be used for journaling. Here's the other piece of that Korean stationery. And I stitched a pocket onto this piece of paper and made a journaling tag to put in there. And this one was a cutout from a I'm drawing a blank. The Recollections, a Recollections paper line. This is a cutout from that, and I stitched 2 sides down so it could be a little tuck spot. Put that card in there. And here's the other half of the Michaels $1.50 spot pad that I had. And here is a library pocket that actually came from an old library book. I'm going to find a sticker or something to cover up that big 42 there. I don't really know what that's there for, but it's not very attractive. So I'm going to cover that up with something. And this came out of the same library book. And this is the card that actually was in the pocket. Most of the times when I have a used library book and I get the pockets, they don't have the cards in them. So I was pretty happy to have the card with that one. So there's that small junk journal. The next project that I need to do is a larger junk journal, which I will take my time with and post that video when I have it ready. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon. Bye-bye.